of around the table, we all had to come up with an idea, you know, and that was, you had to just pitch it to your kind of, you know, your colleagues. And I was only kind of newly in the role. So, you know, people were going, oh, well, I'm going to, you know, kind of a flying car, or, you know, a kind of a rocket, or you know, kind of really kind of crazy ideas, because it was just a bit of a team building exercise. And I said to my colleague at the time, I said, oh, I'm going to do, you know, kind of, you know, realistically, the male version of, you know, kind of what SmartWorks is. So he said, oh, you know, kind of what would you call it? And that's where I'd kind of just went, oh, well, you know, we wrote a few kind of things down. And then, you know, before you have to kind of look at, has anybody else got the name, or what is everybody else? Is there somebody else doing it? But it was just kind of, well, so pitched at the group, and it was, I think the course was ran through the BIC, and one of their advisors were like, that's brilliant. You know, kind of, you need to look at how you can do that. You know, kind of, it's something that is needed. It's, you know, kind of, but how do you do that with a full-time job, kids, and everything else? So yeah,
but I think that's almost when you blatantly have your passion project. You've got something which you love doing, because one of the things I love is following your social media, because you post every time someone gets a job and stuff, and it shows the impact. How and where can people follow you on socials?
So we're kind of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So that all came about. You know, never had any social presence really, and you know, never necessarily needed to. I'd had maybe a LinkedIn for my day job, but then, you know, kind of the social platforms all kind of came about when lockdown first came.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd had, you know, kind of, unfortunately, it was 40 people with mental health problems. You know, kind of, we were a check-in, so nobody was going for jobs, no one was going for interviews, and it was kind of, I think I'd had about 100 suits or so at the time, you know, stored in my parents' garage and loft. And, you know, kind of, I said to my partner, so she does this, you know, kind of Instagram little foodie group, you know, and before kind of COVID had hit, they often used to get kind of invited to places, or they'd get free, you know, kind of meals. And she, you know, I'd said to her, you know, kind of, I'm going to set up these, you know, kind of the social media kind of bits. But she kind of said, well, if, you know, keep it simple, you know. So
do you have at Suitability?
Yeah, so it's all at Suitability.
You've absolutely nailed this one with the name and the handles.
Yeah.
So many people have random ones that
So no, I mean, luckily nobody had it at the time, and again, it was kind of because I didn't necessarily I didn't have any, still don't have any money, but you know, kind of, I went away, and you know, kind of 2 days later the mannequin came through the door, and it was kind of, and for me it was my own mental kind of support. You know, I was able to kind of not, because my day job, it's, you know, it's so hard to try and not relate to people, you know, because of the circumstances. So I need an outlay, but I need to kind of, because I didn't necessarily know how long COVID was going to last. So that's what I was doing. I bought a mannequin. I would, on a weekend, I'd be, you know, kind of taking some photos. You know, I had this camera that was in a box that I'd always wanted to do photography, but I'd never, you know, I just went out and bought an expensive camera, and just, it was always under the, you know, kind of under the bed, so to speak. So I was quite pleased with myself, because I was like, oh, actually, I'm using this camera, but how do I, you know, kind of generally, you know, make it as easy as possible? So that's where the social platforms kind of all came about. And I think, you know, from then, it's, you know, probably 90% of, you know, the suits that have been donated, or the partnerships that have been made, have all came from, you know, kind of virtual, you know, kind of the platform. So I try to make it as accessible. So I've got people kind of reaching out on Facebook, or, I mean, I've got a guy who runs a beard company who, you know, reached out on Instagram, and a sock company, you know, they're donating clothes in. And it's all about, you know, kind of, and for me, I've got the ability, I mean, I'm not on my phone as what I used to be, you know, kind of through lockdown, it was, you know, kind of, I'd be entering all these competitions, and, you know, but I've got the ability to kind of interact with people, which is lovely. And that's what, as you say, kind of, and it's lovely to hear when you're saying it's from a business point of view, because I've never, you know, I've never had any experience. It was all just kind of this transitional, you know, kind of process.